This NFL Network reaction to the schedule release show is ESPN's planning on going live for 3 hours or something like that tonight, and we thought that was a bit alarming, right? We were all like, 3 hours to react to the schedule release? What could you not get done in the first hour that you have to get done in the next 2 hours? But I was appreciative, and we were planning on watching that. A lot of people we know, probably going to be a good show. If we would have thought that this was that big of a deal in advance, I assume we would have potentially done a live watch along, but we didn't know this was this big of a deal, I don't think.
I had no idea this was this big a deal. I understand where the times we're living in, why it is a huge deal. But, man, when you look at it, like every team already knows who they're playing. They know where they're playing. We just don't know the order in which they play these teams. So the schedule release doesn't really give us a ton of info. It just tells you when they're going to be playing the opponents that we already know they're playing.
I said on the earlier show that whenever, as a punter, the schedule would come out, I would just go right to December, see what shit windy holes will we be punting in December, and then I move on with my life, okay? Let's hope that nothing in Buffalo or the AFC North is in December if we got to play them. Let's hope we get them early. One year they put me in Denver the first week. I was very thankful for that. I'm like, thank you for putting me in Mile High. Maybe get me a week 3 or 4 when I'm really hitting a groove. Would have been a little bit better, but I appreciate you putting me out there. For everybody else in the NFL, now coaches obviously start with the mindset we lead off with this. This is the target. This is what we're going for. Preseason's not going to happen. But for a middle linebacker like yourself, was there anything that mattered coming out of this schedule release for you?
No, but the only thing I looked at, I guess the first thing I looked at, okay, when's our bye?
Bye week's a big deal.
Hopefully it's somewhere in the middle of the season. Yeah, who knows? Whatever. I looked at the bye week, and then I guess kind of like you, what the majority of teams did, you look to see, maybe we'll get – I was in Green Bay, so I'm thinking – hopefully, maybe if we're playing a Florida team, we play them late in the year, November, December. We get one of those to take one of those freezing games off the list, I guess. That's all I cared about. I didn't ever look at, like, that's 2 tough back-to-back away games. What are we going to do? I never looked at that. That was never an issue for me. Maybe it was other guys, but the schedule release and the schedule was never talked about in the locker room where I was. Like, I don't know if it is other places, or maybe I just – had buried my head in the sand and didn't care, but I don't remember it being a big deal, at least inside the locker room.
There was numerous times, and I'm just the punter, right? So I am in a different world than everybody else, especially when it comes to preparation for games, because it's me and the ball basically every single time. There was times there late in my career where I'd go on Bob and Tom on Tuesday mornings, okay? Local morning show that's on like 170 stations, syndicated nationwide, good people, good show. I would go in on Tuesdays, my off days, and there was on numerous occasions when I would go in there that whenever they would start talking about our next game, I had no fucking idea who we were playing. And that was Tuesday going into the week. I didn't even know who we were playing. I knew that I had to be up at 6:30 a.m. the next morning for our special teams meeting at 7:30, which then has team meeting at 8. And I assume I'll learn at that point. But I didn't even think of who was next. And now, granted, I assume other people are differently. But I feel like one of the big advantages of some athletes and some people is being able to focus on whatever the hell you have right now. And then we'll worry about whatever's next, and then we'll move forward. I was very much that singular focused person. I assume a lot of other people were. It was to the point where I didn't even know who the fuck we were playing 4 days from now. But Diggs brought up a good point earlier. Fans obviously like this because they can schedule maybe the away game that they want to go to. They can see where the division champ is going to be lined up against their favorite team. Where's the rivalry games? What's going on late in the season and all that stuff. I can see the allure of it. 3-hour reaction show I thought was a bit much, but then I look over what the NFL Network is doing. The NFL Network is packed tonight at 8 o'clock. Now, I want to say that I thought the 3-hour show was going to be a bit much over there for ESPN, and maybe they'll be able to digest some stuff hour 3 that'll be valuable for people to know, and maybe they're just trying to do shows because it's something different, and I respect it. But NFL Network tonight is going to be must-watch television. You're talking about 27 different teams being represented and a lot of big-time names. Tomlin's going on there. He's never on these things. Belichick's going. Bruce Arians is going, who we had on earlier. I mean, you name it. People people are going to be in here. Jerry Jones, John Elway. I mean, the people that need answers or have to give answers or give reactions are all going to be on NFL Network tonight. This is a brilliant idea by the NFL, getting all their teams to get on this thing. And I hope they don't just talk about the schedule. I hope Bill Belichick gets asked about everything. Like, I hope it's a real interview. And because it's on an NFL channel, you can't expect that. But I just hope that is the particular case. And I hope we get some real answers out of some things, because I think all these coaches don't give a damn about the schedule either. So I think they'll only be talking about, things that potentially happen, how they go forward. Jerry Jones is going to get asked about the quarterback situation tonight. I would assume Rich Eisen's going to have to ask him. This is going to be must-see television, and I'm pumped up for it.
Well, I think Rich is a good guy to host this thing, because he'll be fair to the NFL to where he's not going to attack these coaches, but he is going to ask them some normal questions that we care about. Ask Belichick about Tom Brady. Belichick gives us nothing. I think Bruce Arians, the guys with big dynamic personalities, they'll give some real answers. They want to have some fun with it. Vrabel will definitely give some good answers. He doesn't care to just speak about the schedule. It's just, what do you ask these guys? Hey, so coach, your schedule came out. What do you think? I don't know. We found out who we were playing months ago. It doesn't matter what time we're playing in the date of the game, so they don't really care.
Go ahead, Diggs.
I would say with all those guests, ESPN's going to be 3 hours. That's going to be 6 hours.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way that's under 3 hours, because what are you getting, a minute and a half with each person? I mean, this is going to be something. If you listen to any of our shows or watch this show, or I can assume and tell you that what we're talking about tomorrow, I would assume the schedule maybe. There's a couple big games. Tom and Tampa Bay are allegedly taking on Drew Brees and the Saints week 1. So it's like, hello, welcome to the NFC South. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you have Drew Brees. I'm going to assume the Saints, by the way, win that game by maybe 20 to 21 points, because they got their – they have a lot of continuity on that side as opposed to the Buccaneers. The conversation after that game is going to be, did Tom Brady come to the wrong team? Should they have kept with Jameis Winston? Did Jameis Winston win because the Saints beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And it's because they're not going to be able to be around each other until probably week 5. They won't even know each other's real names inside and out and stuff like that. But these are the things that I'm intrigued by and we'll talk about. But I assume all those interviews and conversations that they're going to have is probably where we're going to grab some real gems from for tomorrow.
I mean, you would hope so. I don't know. I'm curious as to how this plays out. So wait, who has the official release? The NFL Network, and then ESPN is covering it from there? How does it work?
The teams are all allowed to release their own schedules at 7:30. Now, granted, there's leaks coming out right now. There is things are just getting dropped, because in this world that we live in, as soon as you find out a piece of information, if you're in a position to give it out, you give it out. That's why Kim Jong-un could lie that he was dead, because somebody in his inner circle was like, to the media in America, and then now that person's probably getting bit by dogs, by the way. The person that leaked the fake information, he was dead. But this is just, as soon as you get information, you got to get it out there. So the schedule's going to be leaked all day. I think 8 o'clock just becomes reaction time by the people who put on makeup and get on television.
Yeah, I guess, but what kind of reaction can you have? Honestly, when you look at the schedule, what can you say? Oh, what do you think? A couple tough back-to-back weeks there, huh, Jimmy? Yeah, well, I guess so. Guess what? It's the NFL. Everybody's good.
Hey, they got an early bye week. Look for that experienced veteran team to maybe slow down towards the end of the year there. And if you start looking at their division, there's no chance they're going to win division with the way this schedule is set up. They say you can't win games in April and May and in March. But I'll tell you what, you can lose them whenever the schedule is set up this way. That is what, if I was on that show, I would be making these long, drawn-out, ridiculous statements that mean absolutely nothing tomorrow, just because that's really all you could do with the NFL schedule being released.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good.